6:03 p.m. for the Economic Development Commission meeting in Town of Woodbridge. Like I said, well, I don't think there's any public on unless someone tells me there is. No? Okay. All right, so no public comment. We will table the January minutes until the next meeting or until we get someone else who comes on later in the meeting. An update on the surveys of residents and businesses. So Betsy sent over a couple days ago the final version, the outcome of the survey. We had 146, I think, replies.
64.
164, sorry, I had it backwards. And what I found the most remarkable about the whole survey is I got a lot more value from the comments in the other section on the survey than I did from our questions in particular. The answers in the other comments are just very sort of descriptive of what people are looking for in town.
Or not.
And there's a lot to dissect there, or not looking for in town. Right. But I was very impressed that we got 164 responses. And like I said, I don't know if any of you have had enough time to digest the whole entire survey, but the comments, there's Donovan. The comment section is really interesting. There's a lot of stuff to digest in there. I don't want to go through all the comments in this meeting. I think that may be something for everyone to read after this meeting, then we can talk about it more in the next meeting. But we can go over the survey questions that we asked and go over a couple of the, go over the responses and sort of go over that sort of what the consensus of the town is. Betsy, did you find anything interesting about the survey? Or did anyone else get a chance to read through
it? So Cleo had emailed both Jeremy and I with a couple questions and comments, one of which was that, and I agree that, a lot of people want to see sort of like the West Hartford kind of Ped Mall, dense boutique type shops. And I think we all know that's not very easy and probably not very realistic right now. Which I think is kind of interesting in and of itself. That's something that people think could work here. But I was interested in particular in the open-ended question about, I'm sorry, not the open-ended question, but the ranking question about what sort of shops you would like to frequent in town. And, specialty food, Bagels Bakery, and coffee shop were the clear winners.
Yeah, it seems like the Bagel Bakery coffee shop is certainly something that people would love to have in town.
Groceries up there too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking today about how many towns in Connecticut can say they don't have a grocery store. I mean, we're one, and I mean, how many other towns can say that? I don't know.
Well, the thing about Woodbridge is, I mean, Stop and Shop is on the border of Woodbridge and New Haven. I mean, you've got Big Y on the border of Woodbridge and Derby. There's two giant shopping grocery store chains on either side of the town.
And the Seymour Stop and Shop is right over the line.
So on every border of our town, there's a grocery store, but just not in town. We've got Brookside where you can go get fresh vegetables and things of that nature. And I think a farm market sort of atmosphere would be good. The grocery store piece, I think you get swallowed up by the big box stores that are on every side of us.
Right. And there were quite a few comments about a Trader Joe's. And if anything, Trader Joe's is going to go to Hamden before they pick our exit because of the orange location. They need separation. So I don't know what's smaller, like a Trader Joe's, but still full service. Amity Meat from time to time has quite a variety, and Brookside has its own variety, and the other farm stand as well. I don't see us attracting a supermarket, even if we felt we had the right space for it. There just isn't the foot traffic for it. But
I think the specialty markets, I think various specialty markets would do very well in our town. Things like seafood, or just find foods, just specialty quality stuff that's farm grown or whatever. I think that there's a number of comments in the survey about specialty foods. I have to read through it again. Natural food stores. People are talking about having to go down to edge of the woods as opposed to having something like that in town.
That's an interesting suggestion. That is kind of that smaller than a Trader Joe's, but still full service.
I think if you go ahead, Betsy.
I was just say the other thing I found interesting was that a lot of the things that people seem to want are sort of duplicative of what we already have, which, exactly what you guys are saying with the grocery store. We already have Amity meat, which is specialty. I mean, you can't get a lot of things there. And Brookside. So for any of your quick trips, you're, like, I need one thing to make the dinner that I'm planning to make. That type of store you're taking care of. And then you just cross the border to go to these other stores. But same thing with coffee shops. We have 2 places in town. We've got Starbucks, and the coffee shop has an espresso machine as well, and the JCC has an espresso machine. So none of them are.
I'm sorry. You saying Starbucks and who is the other?
The chocolate shop, chip in a bottle. Yep. And she has an espresso machine. Yeah. It's not the sort of ambiance, I think, that people are looking for, but also the JCC has an espresso machine. So they've got another, coffee shop option. So we've already got 3 quasi coffee shops in town.
But I think that home style coffee shop,
it's for ambiance,
where
a gathering place.
Eating, and I don't know. It's just a different vibe. Trust me, I tried to market the what out of the JCC coffee shop, and there was just a burden to entry. If you want to get a quick cup of coffee, to go in and show an ID and scan this, and then go back there and parking whatever, versus the drive-through at Starbucks. Or for people who really want to linger, I thought the JCC was a phenomenal place with all of that seating. But I think there's something to be said for the local coffee shop. If there could be one by 245 Amity, or the Old Firehouse, or a location like Brookside Market, it has a different feel.
Yeah. I guess my point is the things that people want, we have in different iterations. And my concern, not that there's anybody clamoring to open up a coffee shop right now, or a small grocery store, but my concern is, if that happens, what happens to these other locations that have been in existence for quite a while?
So maybe that begs the question, how do we share this information with the residents from this survey and say, hey, we know that a coffee shop was one of the most requested lines of business, but did you know we already have 3? Maybe let people know that what they want is here.
Well, I think we could do that through social media posts. We're doing social media right now, and I think people are actually looking for the town's posts. So if we really wanted to highlight the fact that there are some other places that you can get coffee other than Starbucks or whatever, you could do that. I just, after reading these things, I feel like people want a warm place to go and smile and sit down, have a homemade Danish or a bagel sandwich, and just have breakfast and lunch, and have it be a place where you can get a coffee till 7:00 at night. Mm-hmm. It's different than these other places we're talking about.
I totally agree.
So while we do have those things in town, their specialty, the JCC is not a coffee shop. The JCC is Jewish Community Center, where they have many different offerings for the whole entire town and other people from out of town. And the chocolate shop is Chip in a Bottle is a chocolate shop. I mean, you can go there and get an espresso. His chocolates are amazing, and I'm sure the espresso is good too. But yeah, I don't think you're going to go there and meet to have a business meeting and sit there and have a cup of coffee.
No, I think it's
right. It's not designed to be a spot to hang out.
Right. I think it's more that Willoughby's feel, that Common Grounds feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about this kind of thing, I mean, there are locations in town where you could put a business like this. I'm trying to figure out how we as EDC can make something happen. Do we as a group put together a piece reaching out to Blue State Coffee and this coffee and that coffee and saying we have a cup of coffee? Our town wants a coffee shop. We're looking to bring you to town. We've got a couple different spots that are available. Or is that outside of our purview as a commission?
Well, I think, hang on, guys. I think we're skipping some steps because, you used the word consensus before. And I mean, I think it's okay for us to look at some of these responses right now and just have some discussion. However, I mean, we'd have to do some math to see if this is actually statistically significant sample of the town residents, and I don't think it is. I mean, it would. I don't think we would get. I don't think we'd ever get to that level of response. So I think what we need to do is when the survey's closed, we take the responses and we put together, some findings, and then we can share that with the community, and then that should possibly get some more discussion and feedback and knowledge sharing throughout the community. So I'm not saying we can't reach out to coffee shops, but I think that's further down the road process right now.
Yeah, I agree with Sean.
Didn't we just poll the community?
Say again?
Didn't we just poll the community for their thoughts and on these questions that we asked? I'm just trying to understand your process, you being more of a statistical kind of guy, what the process is from this point. We've polled the community, so now we're gonna put the data together, and are we gonna do that in a meeting, or who's gonna do that? And then are you saying that we're supposed to put that together in a statistical sort of graph, and we're supposed to put that back out to the town for further comment?
Sean, if you don't mind me.
Go ahead, Toby.
Yeah, if you don't mind me chiming in, I think basically Sean is saying that it seems like, right, if you look at the answers, there's anywhere from 140 to 160 people who respond to each question. And so Sean, I think his point number one is that, yeah, even though a majority of our respondents are saying that, for their leisure activities, they like cooking or they want a coffee shop, given that we have a significantly larger population in Woodbridge than 160 people, it might be a better idea to compile the data we have and then do a common sense check again with the community with a more polished report and saying, this is what we found and we plan to use this data going forward. Does this make sense, community? I think that's what Sean was saying.
Yeah. Thank you for summarizing that.
So, are you suggesting that we take the top X number of answers, especially from those, maybe not so much the how often do you eat out kind of questions, but those open-ended questions, and we take the top 5 or 10 answers and repackage them and send them out? Am I following what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, when we can, take this data and again, we the I don't know if there's an actual preference for those open-endeds, but I mean, sharing the findings of the survey is the. I mean, that's what you do after a survey. So,
survey is going to be posted, right, Betsy, in the town with the minutes of the meeting? Right?
It doesn't have to be. No, we could include it as an attachment, but there's no.
It was supposed to be. No.
I mean,
No, I don't think there's any legal requirement to do that.
like similar, like remember when they did the survey for what was that survey that the high school kids did?
Oh, about the country club.
Right. So, they put together a deck with, what the findings were, and that's information you share, and that's just the next natural step. I mean, that's I don't know. I mean, that's just me.
From my personal perspective, in terms of a coffee shop, I wonder if people are just looking for something more for convenience. Because I know I like Dunkin' Donuts, and I live on Racebrook Road, and if I need a coffee, I would have to drive all the way down to Amity or drive up to Derby and Sonia. And I'll wait in line for like 15, 20 minutes just to get a cup of coffee. So I wonder if people are just looking for something more convenient, quick, in and out, versus driving all the way down to Whaley Avenue or something like that.
I think it's a combination. I think it's the quick factor, because that Whaley Avenue Dunkin' Donuts, the drive-through line, spills out far, and it's not doesn't create safe traffic patterns sometimes. But the flip side is, and I've heard it in our community council meetings, is after school drop off, there's still a lot of moms, let's say, who want to go and meet up and hang out, or for anybody working at home who wants to take their laptop and go somewhere else for an hour or two. So I think it's a combination of quick when you need quick, and hang out when you want to hang out.
Yeah, and Starbucks is very convenient.
Right, and the Starbucks in Derby or the Starbucks on Litchfield are convenient, but if you were to meet a friend or a colleague for a cup of coffee at a meeting, you can't guarantee there's somewhere for you to sit. Whoever gets there first could sit there for 3 or 4 hours. I think many of us have probably gone into either of those two Starbucks. They have some of the small. Derby too has very limited seating, and you just can't expect to get work done. Or when you have college kids or high school kids working from home, and they want to get out for an hour or two.
Yeah,
I think it's the seating is also an issue.
Yeah.
But who knows? Is it if you build it, they will come, or people want it but won't support it? That's the roll of the dice with any business, I guess.
And so I think Debbie, Donovan, and Sean did kind of speak to this point already, but maybe it needs to also be explicitly just said directly as well. I think whatever maybe data points we plan to focus on, whether it's like a coffee shop or, whatever item down the road that we plan to focus on, I think that, we might benefit from actually asking then more specific, going back to the town, iterating again and asking more specific questions about, hey, why do you want this? And making sure that whatever we're doing isn't redundant or cannibalizing anything already in town, or that, right? Because there may be the case that their desire for that coffee shop can be met through other activities as well. So getting a better understanding of that might be useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other data points on the survey that anyone wants to speak about? And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot to digest in this. My point before was I just like to try to take something out of this and make an impact on the town one way or another. So if we want to make a goal of getting this data put together and sent back out, repackaged for further comment from the town, then we should make a goal of getting that done quick and efficiently and getting it back out so we can have responses.
I wouldn't call it repackaging. It's like when the survey closes, you got to look at the data and you work out. We can probably be me and maybe Toby if you want to help. What the data is saying, what the a summary of what the findings are, and then we can then take action after that. That's all I'm saying.
So, in what form would you put together? What form would you communicate this survey to the town in? I just want to put together an action plan so we can make this happen.
I mean, I would put together, summary of chart. We can do, do it a PowerPoint, convert it to a PDF, put it on the website, share it, again, maybe get a blurb in the newspaper somehow, put it in the, the town emails that go out, say, here's our summary of findings for our resident survey.
Well, I guess I'm confused. When you say summary, are you saying what we were just delivered from Betsy from the survey platform of every choice, whether it was 22% or 2%? Or are you saying to peel off the most popular? That I don't understand, because otherwise we could just attach this entire document with all the answers.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is how many
later.
This is 26 pages.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take the highlight of these 26 pages and whatever else, that might not be covered here, like say some of those open-ended stuff, make that more concise, and then that's what our takeaways are. And that's what I'm saying here with the community. And also the fact that it's 164 responses or whatever it's going to be, and it's ideally you want 90-95% confidence, but this is not going to be that, and that needs to be prepared as well. So
the survey is closed.
That's what I was going to ask you. I thought it was closed.
Oh, it is closed. Okay.
But I could reopen it, and that was Cleo's point, is that 164 is not statistically significant. She was hoping to see more. So I'll just throw that back out to you guys. Do you feel like we could get more? I've put it in 2 e-newsletters, 2 physical newsletters, and the newspaper, and it was on Facebook a couple times. I could do that again, but I have diminishing returns after a while. I mean, what do you guys think? 164 is not a huge number.
Right.
So if it goes out in just digital form, because I think when it's printed in the newspaper, a lot of people aren't going to type in the address to access it. But if it can go in the e-newsletter and Facebook, really with an obvious call to action of last call, closing 3 days later, whatever it goes out on a Tuesday, it's closing Friday morning, whatever the timestamp is. I think we could get more responses if people think it's now or never. Because it closed without any fanfare. There was no last call. Maybe there was. I didn't see. So I think if that happens, there might be an impetus to do it.
Do you know where they are now?
Yeah, I mean, I just like everyone, I don't want this to go on indefinitely. We need to finish it up. But yeah, I mean, Debbie, if we had maybe had one last, surge and try to get some, a good chunk of more responses, I think it would be helpful.
Right. It's hard though, because we're promoting the Woodbridge Bucks. We're going to put out the survey. I mean, it's a lot of posts. And then Betsy has, obviously there's regular town hall news, vaccination news, it just becomes busy, digitally busy.
Can you just raise my hand for a little bit?
This may sound funny, but I don't have Facebook. So, I wouldn't even be reached. So I'm trying to think of
Are you on the town? Are you on the town e-newsletter? Do you get that?
No, my wife has Facebook, but I don't. I'm on the newsletter, so I get the newsletter.
I'm with you, Donovan. I don't do Facebook either.
Either.
Just trying to think how
Right. I guess
How to
digitally, those are
reach.
really the only two options. It's the e-newsletter and the Facebook posts. I don't know. Have you seen, Betsy, the numbers grow for Facebook follows or newsletter signups? Maybe some of this is having a good effect.
Newsletter. I think we're at about 2,300 subscribers. And Facebook grew significantly at the beginning of the pandemic because people were anxious and hungry for information. It's slowed down a little bit lately, but we're probably at around 800 or 900 followers.
Did you get any new ones with Woodbridge Bucks?
I'm sorry?
Did you get any new one with Woodbridge Bucks promotions?
Just a few, like maybe 2 or 3. It seems like every week I get 2 to 3 more people. So just trickle.
But so the e-newsletter, that has pretty good reach, 2,300. Obviously, there's...
And about 50 to 60% end up opening the e-newsletter.
I mean, is there a way for us to get that like right at the top of the newsletter in a black bumper survey? Just like, instead of like being thrown like down at the bottom with things that people don't even scroll down the email to see.
Well, I've got to have the vaccine and the testing stuff at the top. So after Beth's comments and then the vaccine and then the testing, you're up there, but it's still down.
It's the survey and the bucks, right?
And we can't send something out just from EDC?
We could. I don't have a list associated with that.
When is the next town list going out? The town e-newsletter going out?
Tomorrow, if I can finish it.
Oh. I mean,
can we get it at the top of...
Better than nothing if it's going out tomorrow to get in.
You just put a header in some, after the top topics and the link again saying deadline is March 15th. Please click on. We want your feedback.
Yeah, the only issue is I'd have to figure out. I don't know if it's just easy enough for me to just say turn it back on for the survey, or if there's some. I don't know the program well enough to know if there's something I need to do, or if it's just as easy as clicking a button.
So the next town email will go out next week. After that,
it'll go out tomorrow, and then it's monthly. So the next one would be mid-March.
Okay. So what's everyone's thoughts on?
Well, I would love for it to go in tomorrow, but not unless Betsy knows that she knows how to turn it back on and also has time to format it. Obviously, it's not that easy just to put in. I mean, the books are probably already in there under Beth's comments and the vaccine stuff, but to add the survey, maybe it's just maybe it is just Facebook, and it gives Betsy more time to make sure she can turn the survey back on, or it can go in. I know not everyone has Facebook, but it'll get some reach. But you can't promote it in the newsletter tomorrow unless you know that it's turned back on.
Yeah.
It's easy to promote the box, but you can't promote the survey.
Yeah. I guess, Betsy, if you want, you can send us an email during the week, and if you can turn it on, then we can think about a way to communicate to the town that the surveys.
I guess it could go in the March 1 printed newsletter. I think that creates awareness, but again, I don't think people are copying down those Bitly links or other things. But
they're not. There. But I think it helps to see things multiple times, or in multiple, at least for me, multiple formats. It makes me more likely to follow through. So, there's nothing. Is there a problem in turning it off and then turning it back on in March for a week or two? It's a little weird, but is there any reason to not do that?
No, we just wouldn't have our findings or even a final version of it to even talk about until the April meeting.
Yeah.
So
I think it's okay then, because then you have the March 1 newsletter, and then your March e-newsletter, and then the Bucks promotion is over, so it's not double promoting things. People are tired of hearing from me on Facebook.
So, I guess since back to what Sean and Toby were saying in terms of statistics, if we have, I know we only have 160 something responses, but if 80% of those people are, say, a bagel shop or a coffee shop, I guarantee you more than likely, you get 2,000 people, you probably get a similar majority. So I'm in favor of moving forward with what we have, unless the majority thinks we should open it back up.
Donovan, I wish the math would be that easy. Yeah, that's actually not how it works.
And just quickly, just based on what was said, I think just now and a bit earlier, I mean, what I understood from Sean's point was also that stage 2 would be taking away like the main takeaways from this survey. So recondensing and repolishing it down to the main takeaways that we as an EDC think are most salient. Like, so for instance, right, like we're trying to promote and develop business, and we're trying to promote and develop industrial resources. And so it may be the case that some findings are more appropriate than others. And so those are the findings that we would focus in on in a more polished report. And then that's the stuff we'd have a larger discussion with the town about, to then get their input on it and refine that. And so that's kind of what I understood that process to be.
And even something simple as a pie chart. One would be industry, right? Based on the responses. Another pie chart would be the reason why, right? Convenience or leisure or something like that. And maybe 2 or 3 pie charts, and people like visuals, and that could sum up exactly, where we are in terms of condensing the feedback.
Betsy, do you want me to? I could try to take a look at the, software with you and figure out if it's something that can be easily turned back on. I don't know if time for that or not, but I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I can just, when we get off the call tonight, I can take a look at the website quickly. I've got, I'm taking the afternoon off tomorrow, and I've got 2 meetings in the morning, so I have limited time to fiddle with it. But if it's as easy as just clicking a button, then I can get it into the e-newsletter very, very easily. If it's more complicated than that, I don't know that I have time to deal with it tomorrow, unfortunately.
Gotcha. What's the one that you went with? Zoho, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess this sort of hedges on whether we can get this out in the newsletter tomorrow. But either way, I guess for the next meeting, we'll put it on the agenda that we're going to take a look at where we are with the survey one way or the other, and try to start to compile the information, to not repackage it, but to just get some top line ideas for us to go back and discuss, and then we'll figure out how we want to, get feedback on that, on our findings.
And I guess I'll throw out one more thing. If for some reason I can't get it on tonight or tomorrow, I could turn it on next week, email you all the link, and ask you to send it out to, 5 people, 10 people who don't necessarily have to be Woodbridge residents, but should be Woodbridge consumers or potential Woodbridge consumers. And it could be on and just kind of sitting there idly until we have a new good opportunity to promote it, like the newsletter, the newspaper, and Facebook. Because it's been on the Woodbridge Town website, but people don't go to the website usually unless they're looking for something specific.
When it's republished or re-promoted, should it say something like, if you have not yet done so already? Or is that presumed by the resident not to do it twice? I mean, I can't imagine someone's going to be saying...
yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that.
Stuff in the boxes.
They'd be campaigning hard for something personal. I don't know.
So then my next question to you all is, should there be a date cutoff or should there be a number cutoff? Should I say the next cutoff is March 10th because your meeting is on March 11th?
I like the date cutoff just because it's a call to action. If it just sits there, it could sit there.
It's got to be a date.
Forever.
Yeah, we're never gonna hit the number we really want anyway. I would like an opportunity to take this spreadsheet and kind of like break it apart and do some things with it. Look at the data ahead of our meeting, kind of our next meeting. So, and then that way we can have some substance to discuss in that March meeting. That makes sense.
So then the cutoff could be like March 4. That would give you a week before the meeting. Thursday.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds good to me. What is that?
So I will be.
Another medium that comes to mind that I get tagged a lot on as there's this neighborhood app or watch or something. There seems to be a lot of traffic on that. And
could you share it on that? Are you a user?
I am a user. Yeah, I have an account.
That would be useful because we won't have another e-newsletter before your next meeting. But I am going to send an email out to community organizations and the board and commission members. So I can share the email with them. Those are people who are very active in the community and should be taking our survey if they have not yet.
That's a great idea.
If you could share it on the Neighbors app, that would be reaching potentially a different audience. And if the rest of you could also share it with, friends, neighbors, colleagues.
Do you want to submit it to the Bethwood Patch and ask them to put it in their digital version? I mean, it's all digital, but you know what I mean? So if it goes in a little news release, then it's clickable.
Debbie, can you put it on the Woodbridge Bethany residents Facebook page?
Yes.
All right. My account got hacked and I've been off of Facebook for like a month and a half and I can't get back in.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm the only one posting these things.
I can't get back in. It's insane, which is sort of nice, but sort of, I feel like I'm missing all kinds of stuff.
No, you're not missing anything important. Just our town stuff. That's it. Yeah, there's Woodbridge Watch, Woodbridge Bethany Residents Forum, Bethany Woodbridge Residents Group, and then the Moms of Bethany Orange Woodbridge. And sometimes I ask a friend to post in the school group. There's too many groups. There's a lot of groups.
Well, I could ask someone to post it in the Beecher PTO for sure.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are not my people anymore.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like we're going to probably try to shut down the survey on March 4th. That'll give some time
Betsy,
to Sean to...
I'm sorry. Betsy, if you can make a fresh post that says survey closing March 4th, then it makes it super easy to share.
Yeah.
When it's a fresh post. I think most people wouldn't have realized it already did close anyway.
Okay.
So, let's move on to number 4, goals and priorities for 2021. I'll just start with one thing, and we can go around and we can all just, talk about what some of the goals that you have One of the things that I did hear from talking to business owners and from talking to Betsy is that it seems that people are looking for a business association network. Business owners can get together and have a group that they can get together with, not necessarily where we are in charge of it, EDC, but where maybe we can support it in some way. And I think that would be a nice supporting factor for our local businesses. And Betsy's already done an awesome job setting up the various sector group meetings. But if we could put something together where those groups all together can start to meet on a more regular basis or via Zoom or something like that for now, I think a business association community would be really, really good for our town. So pass it on to somebody else.
No, that's a great idea, Jeremy. I think it might be even more attractive, hopefully, when we get out of COVID, because everybody's going to be, looking to be exceedingly active when we're in the period. So I think that could be something attractive.
So I would say, I love this Woodbridge Bucks promotion, and maybe there's another level we can take it with press releases or news stories, kind of calling Woodbridge open for business, and lest we not be forgotten for Hamden or Orange or New Haven, those kinds of things. I think I don't know if it was the Wall Street Journal or another paper I read that profiled a small town, and they had the slogan of something as simple as open for business. And they had a broker's tour of available properties, and they had survey data of what their residents were looking for and how do you tie it up with a bow and make it attractive for people. Like, we're here, and we're ripe for the picking, but an all hands on deck approach with the data and other town groups supporting it as well. We want to have our ducks in a row. I think we're just a sleepy little town that's okay going elsewhere for everything.
I'm gonna call.
So that's an interesting idea. I was thinking the other day, we have a lot of properties that I think of as sort of like potential / problem properties, specific spots that have been vacant for a long time. And at one point, Jeremy and I kind of kicked around the idea of doing some sort of tour where we actually put people on a bus and gave them like orange juice and coffee in Danish. And now obviously that is way off the table. But what if we did some kind of virtual property tour where, Frank Distilio was at the Red Barn, Steve Miller was at another property, we had somebody over on Research Drive, and it was like a Zoom thing like this. And you'd say, okay, Frank, give us a tour of the Red Barn. And he'd walk around with his phone and he'd talk about the features of the building, and somebody else would shoot over to Research Drive and somebody else would say, well, this is great for biomedical research because of blah, blah, blah. And we've got all these hoods and these protections. And, if we had something like that, we wouldn't have to wait. And it seems like it could be accomplished sort of simply.
Well, yes. And in fact, I think that's a great idea. And in fact, some of these agents could film these segments and they can live on the website. So if the business website, a page of the website shows some, again, I don't want to put a burden on your web designer, but showcases maybe, like 3 properties, right? So something on Bradley Road, maybe it's the Red Barn, and maybe it's whatever, it's industrial, it's retail, and it's office space, some kind of variety pack. And those property owners or agents can give a tour, and it can sit on the website. And maybe there's the visual of, getting off the Merritt Parkway, and oh, look how close this is. And the video is of someone in a car getting off the Merritt Parkway, showing how easy it is to get to Research Drive, or watching the cars go by the old Red Barn to show how much potential business can be driving by. I like the open house one day idea, but I also think some of these videos can live on the website while the properties are available.
Jeremy, do realtors have this skill set? Do you think something like that would be possible?
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, so I'm the chairman of the Greater New Haven Board of Realtors, the commercial investment division. And we monthly have a Zoom meeting with about 40 brokers on it. And I lead a Zoom meeting with like 40 different windows, and everyone raises their hand and talks about their listings, their done deals, their new listings, their wants and their needs. And we've had a couple of different agents on occasion who have done either a virtual tour beforehand and then showed their video by sharing their screen. I make them as a host, or they're in the space and they give us a little walking tour. But yeah, we all are doing. That's how we're doing business right now, a lot of us. So yeah, it's definitely doable.
I like the one day open house also. I just think that's hard to get attendance for something like that, you know.
What I'm wondering, would the attendance be any different from what Jeremy has at his regular meetings anyways?
You have to do a really good job of promoting it, and it have to probably be over and beyond just business owners and realtors and property owners. You probably want to promote it to the town, like a one-time only. We're going to do a property tour, virtual. We'll try to get hundreds of people on there to see it, but we'd have to do a good job promoting it.
I would even say it would be statewide, because going back to our conversation before, is who's to say there isn't a bakery coffee shop in New London that was thinking of expanding, and all of a sudden they may think of us, or there's someone in Farmington. There's a dermatologist in Farmington who's thinking of expanding his practice. So it's almost to me more important to get out of town, notice eyes on it, than in town eyes on it. You know, if we want businesses to move into here, who knows? I mean, listen, the Nike outlet isn't coming to town, but who knows who is thinking of expanding and likes the demographics that we can offer.
I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure how we attract those people to an event like that.
Yeah,
I can certainly get agents. I think you get realtors, but your non-realtors, I don't know how you reach them.
Right. I don't know what if that's a Chamber of Commerce kind of partnership, or the statewide Economic Development Commission. I don't know.
This is making me think about the thing again. So it attracts businesses from that New London coffee shop that wants to expand. Hey, they had an opportunity to get some kind of tax fee deal bridge. So I think that's got to be. I can't even remember where we left off on that, but I think that needs to be set as a priority.
Yeah, it's kind of what Debbie started off by talking about, right? Having sort of a menu of things to say. We've done the abatements, we've done the research, here's the properties, we've got everything. We just need you to come in and open your business.
I bet you we could get local news. I think if we had this kind of a day where it is live, not just on Zoom or half live with agents or property owners giving tours, that local news media would be interested, because it's kind of a novel idea for our part of the state, is really trying to, it's not like a Hallmark movie where the little small town's going to be bought by the big developer and all that, but we want to put ourselves out there and let people know that we have opportunity. And we're looking for people to invest with us, and the return will come.
Let's see. Could we put the company that did the little clips for how everyone was being careful during the pandemic, being safe and everything? Mm-hmm. Would we be able to, within our budget, maybe put together a 5-minute clip, and we engage the property owners and the agents ahead of time, and put together 30-second clips of the 10 different properties, and package it with a background and some video, and that can be sent out to other towns and on our website and sent to EDC in New Haven. And
so they wouldn't do it, but there might be somebody else in town with that skill set.
Okay.
But so we're sort of circling around something else that I've been thinking a lot about is a marketing campaign, kind of sort of two-pronged, or maybe you just pick one, but either marketing our local businesses to residents and area consumers, and or marketing the town as a place to do business and live. And I've thought about it in sort of like, what's Woodbridge? Like, why do you come to Woodbridge, right? You come because you've got this kind of unique rural-urban mix. You're out in the middle of nowhere, but you're 15 minutes from the New Haven Green. And everyone is, very enthusiastic about the quality of education. And it's really family focused. So I think if there was some way to kind of show off the family focus, and you kind of think about the number of business and the types of businesses we have that cater to families, I mean, maybe there's some sort of hook there. I'm not a slogan person, but if we came up with some sort of catchy slogan, there'd be plenty of opportunities to use that as a way to bring people into town.
Are you suggesting like a pivot from the Shop, Dine, Try, which is more for residents, to one of those live, work, plays, which is a call for people to move in?
Maybe, but I mean, I also think it's, and this is where, someone with real marketing experience would help. But I think a lot of the people who own businesses in town or work and live in town do so because they don't want the commute. They don't want to have to deal with traffic. They don't want to get on the Merritt. They don't want to have to struggle to get downtown. And they came to Woodbridge initially because they knew it would be good for their family. And working in town allows them to not have to commute and have more time with their family, or have more time with their yard or their dog or whatever it is. But so, something about like, why come here initially? So, but more specific than live, work, play, right? Like, we put families first, or, whatever the catchy thing would be. But, we've got Mathnasium and all of the sports places and the rec offerings that we have and all the things that the JCC does for kids. I mean, there's a lot that we have in this small town that really puts the focus on families.
What if there's a play on words with bridge, woods and town, like it's the bridge of family and town or something like that. Just, I don't know. There's got to be something there where, Woodbridge is basically a town where we bridge, living in the woods to doing business in towns. Not that, but
not that. Are you sure?
Not that. No. But there's got to be some sort of a catchphrase that's sort of. Use the word bridge, not woods.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Well, listen, I mean, bottom line is, yes, I wish that the doctors that we know who live in town had offices here in town, and I didn't have to go to Milford or downtown New Haven or Hamden, and people who were attorneys or bankers or XYZ could set up shop here in town and not, again, go 20 minutes elsewhere. I feel like we've asked that in a way before, but maybe not in a overt manner.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I was thinking about, and again, I'm not a marketing person, it is, something really explicit, like a campaign showing photos of people who live in town and work in town, like probably not a billboard because we don't have that money and there's only 2 in town, but like a big photo of Chris Dickerson saying something like, I live in town and I choose to run my business in town, or,
like a why I chose Woodbridge, almost like these mini biopics.
Yes. I'm investing in Woodbridge.
And Yeah, it's almost like a series. We did something like this at the JCC years ago of like My J, My Way. And you were a young family, you were a senior, you know, whatever your race, religion, cultural origin, sexual identity was, like everybody said why I joined the J and what they do there. And it really showed all the diversity and the reasons of value. So maybe it's similar to that, where it was years ago. So it's not like just a copy, but you know, why I chose Woodbridge.
Yeah, so I think if you guys think, you know, marketing is something that you want to focus on, I think there's a lot of different ways we could go with it. Something like that, you know, if you already live here, bring your business here, or you should move here and bring your business here, or, you know, marketing the businesses and the assets that we already have here, or some combination of, you know, 2 or 3 of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like all the reasons we heard on the new resident coffee last week or so, yeah, of just to fill you all in, the community council had a virtual coffee for new residents, and the reasons why people moved to town were very diverse, whether it was a new job in the area or to be closer to grandchildren or just for the schools, or it was a real variety pack. And I think that could be promoted and be advertised.
Where would we advertise it? Where would we promote this from?
So there's I can't think what it's called. It's something like a new residence guide that's regional, that the Regional Economic Development Group puts out, and there's ads in there. So you don't get in there without an ad, but I think maybe a half-page ad is, I'm not going to have the right numbers, $500 or something like that. But if we had a marketing campaign with a slogan, that's something that I could easily take care of. But just coming up with something on my own on the fly is probably not a good use of your money. Mm-hmm. But so that's one way, you know, and Yale gives those out to all of their prospective employees that they're wooing, and so it gets seen by a lot of people. It's put at all of the rest. It's a visitor's guide also. It's put at all of the state rest stops on 95. So it gets really wide distribution. So that's one way to do it. I'm sure there's other outlets, but that's the one that comes to mind most readily for me.
And I think it could be combined with this other kind of endeavor with the business properties and all of that, because it's all like hand in glove.
So in that ad, the idea would be to put these different faces of Woodbridge, why they're doing business in Woodbridge, a couple different people in their quotes.
Well, I see it as 3 different things, but again, I'm not a marketing professional. So in my mind, one is just trying to get people to think about Woodbridge as a place to live and or bring their business, right? Like maybe you have a kids' clothing store. You should bring it to Woodbridge because we really put kids first, or we put families first, or however you want to, you know, phrase it. Or you're thinking of moving to the greater New Haven region. Well, you should move to Woodbridge because of blah, blah, blah. So sorry, it's bedtime over here. Or, you know, marketing our local businesses, but I don't think that sort of regional thing would be a place to say, you know, for us to highlight one particular business. But I think it would be more thinking about what you guys think is a priority, or which aspects are a priority, and then kind of figuring out what the outlets are.
When do you know when this gets distributed? When it's put together?
I want to say it comes out in like the early summer.
I mean, that would be great if we could put something together that highlights the outdoor activities in town, along with, you know, the good community feel and small town vibe. I mean, it'd be nice. Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts about goals and for this 2021 year? We have a lot of stuff on the table, but certainly open for more discussion.
Hey, Betsy, I actually had a quick clarifying question, maybe on like your idea. So, you did say like you were thinking about either marketing of local businesses or, maybe marketing the town as like a place to live. And so I'm just also wondering, have we ever in Woodbridge, to your knowledge, marketed local businesses at the scale you're maybe describing, like for this like marketing campaign, or like maybe, or alternatively, have we ever done that for the town? I'm also like wondering, also, like, are there maybe other towns who have done either as well? Just so maybe we could refer to that as an example of how maybe we would think about approaching this as well.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So in the guide, and I don't know that I have a physical copy of it, but in the guide, the town of Orange has an ad. Madison has an ad. New Haven has an ad. There's probably more, but those are the three that readily come to mind. But they're not business focused. It's more like, Madison has a picture of the beach and their lovely downtown in a flower basket, but it's not like come to RJ Julia's in Madison. It's more like Madison has it all, or whatever their logo is.
I think Litchfield, I don't know if it was Litchfield or another town in Litchfield County did some type of promotion, and they received a lot of inquiries, and a lot of people from the New York City area moved up there and brought their businesses with them. And there was, I'll try and Google it and find the source, but was information about someone bought an old barn and is making it, I don't know, a furniture store, and someone brought their attorneys group up there. They wanted to live and work in the same place and avoid the commute. But they were successfully drawing that combination of live and work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was also asking just because, like, certainly if we look at other towns and see what they've done, obviously we can take, and implement what they've done and use in our approach, but also we can kind of gauge what we can reasonably expect to be the outcome if we either focus on marketing specifically only about our local businesses, or if we, focus on marketing specifically only about the town. Just a thought.
Yeah, and I think, your goal is going to be different based on whatever you're doing, right? Are we looking to bring in new people? Are we looking to bolster what we already have? So I think you kind of need to look at what your desired outcome is. Yeah,
there's the other side of it is we got into this when we were trying to figure out, the Woodbridge Bucks is there's a lot of different kinds of businesses. Are we promoting doctor's offices and the local architect and the local engineer? Or are we just promoting retail stores? And is that fair to the service type businesses that starts remote? So that sort of stuff is tough when you're trying to promote individual businesses. But to Toby, your point, and Betsy's point, and Debbie's point, we're trying to promote the town as a great place to do business and a community that cares. And by promoting the town like that, at least it shows that the town is putting the town out there for, the rest of the state to see and outside our town to see. Just my 2 cents. It's hard to market individual businesses, I think.
Yeah, one thought I had for marketing businesses would be, it's sort of a riff on the marketing campaign the state's doing. They've got usually 2 photos that are sort of opposites in some way, like in Connecticut, this is a terrible example. You can go water skiing or snow skiing, that sort of thing, like showing the breadth of experiences that you can have in the state as a tourist. But ours could be something like, take a hike and get a beer, or take a hike and buy a fancy handbag, or take a hike and buy some chocolate. But I don't really know what the alternative to take a hike would be. It would be like ride your bike and buy a bike, or, but, just talking about like, why would you come to Woodbridge if you didn't live in town? I mean, the hiking here is amazing. But I think that we could really lean on that as a big draw. And if you're here for an hour or two, you may as well spend some money.
It's almost like the marketing campaign has to be the secret is out. Woodbridge is a hidden gem, and we're finally ready to tell you about it, because we do get skipped over. People go from Fairfield County over to the shoreline or up to West Hartford, and we get skipped over, I feel like. So I feel like that it's almost like no, we're no longer hidden, and we're going to reveal our identity, our truth. Because you're right, the imagery of having a barn and the brewery and a fancy salon and a trailhead or something, or the waterfalls is very compelling.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess to move this along, I guess let's find out when this gets published and what the deadlines are to put in an ad, and then we can think about how we can put this together. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay. Woodbridge Bucks update. So I'll turn this over to Betsy, but I haven't been able to see a lot of the posts, but I think it's amazing that we've gotten 20, 25, 30 responses, and would you say 100 engagements?
Yeah, that first week, and I'm trying to pull it up on my phone right now. So it was seen by more than 1,500 people the first week, and there was, I think, more than 100 engagements and maybe 20 comments the first week.
How did you do the winners?
I just literally wrote their names down on a piece of paper and put it in the fishbowl in my office, and had someone else draw the names out. Very old school.
Who won?
Yeah, let me see if I can remember the names. Susan Rubino. There's another woman from Bethany whose name I forget right now.
Okay.
Ed Walsh. A youngish guy who might be new to town. I want to say his last name is Edelman, maybe Josh Edelman. And I'm blanking on the fifth person who won. It was a woman. And so this week, I think we had maybe 10 or 12 comments. So it's less engagement this week than there was last week. So I'm going to turn the comments off again at 9 a.m. tomorrow and throw the names in the hat and see what we get.
So you did 5 last time or 4?
5.
Was there any overwhelming theme from the responses or the anecdotes that people were posting?
The UPS store. Everyone loves the UPS store. The UPS store. Thai stories. Oh, Amethyst Lounge is getting some love this time. Brown Fitness, Thai Stories, Saloon, Red Barn. It's nice. It's really nice.
Very nice. And everyone has really nice things to say. It's very uplifting.
Yeah. So I shared one more time tonight. I forget which of the groups. I can't do every group every night. I don't want to get booted out, but I said tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. was the close of week 2.
Can we
and then when you make the first
compile?
post next week, Monday, I'll share that around for you.
Can we compile like a good feelings poster at the end of this with all the different quotes on it? Like,
that's interesting. So some of them are repetitive, right? Like I think the first week Thai Stories might have gotten 3 positive comments. So I wouldn't want it to be everybody loves Thai Stories, but nobody said anything about, X restaurant. But the press release that I put out that should be coming out in tomorrow's Woodbridge Town News, I included quotes from the first week. I didn't include people's names, but I said, people said Saloon had great service and Thai Stories, whatever people had said. So I included a lot of those quotes.
If this is going to be included in your e-blast tomorrow, should the week 3 post be ready? because then people, if they open the e-blast in the afternoon, we don't want them posting on the week 2 that's closed. If you can make the week 3, unless it doesn't matter to you.
That's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought about that.
Just because there might be a lag time if you weren't going to do the week 3 post until Monday, but the e-newsletter goes out tomorrow with a live link.
Right. People might not remember to go back to Facebook.
Right. Or they either just in the moment they want to click on it. They only see week 1, week 2.
Right.
They might post on week 2, but then it's hard for you to decipher who's who.
Right. Yeah, I think I could do that. I think I could have it go live this afternoon.
Yeah, you can set the post on a timer.
Yeah.
You set the post on a timer to go out after the e-newsletter. That should work.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's nice. I think
really nice.
I like reading the comments and even comments, a couple of comments in the different groups where it's been shared. It's nice too.
Betsy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks.
No, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, to Jeremy's earlier point about like compiling a poster or like a summary of this, and this might, like, I'm just spitballing, so this might be a silly idea, but I'm wondering, and to like Debbie's point about having something live on the website that again can speak to maybe in different ways, like the charming kind of small town vibe that Woodbridge gives off. Do you think it's possible to maybe like take some of these like quotes and like put them like almost like add them as almost like materials for like in some way, shape, or form? Almost like I don't know, because I know on one hand we don't want to endorse only specific businesses, but like I could see kind of a world or situation where maybe Woodbridge Buck, if it's successful and we all agree to this, where Woodbridge Buck continues, and yeah, maybe, you know, it's like kind of like a highlight business of the month or something down the road, and it's just kind of like a revolving door of different positive comments. But just a thought.
It's an interesting idea. Yeah, let me think about how to use them because they are very nice.
I hope the businesses follow the town on Facebook so they can see the nice things that are written about them. Sometimes they get tagged, but not always.
Yeah, I know a few of them have shared the post. But yeah, I think, and I've tried reaching out to some of the businesses that have been mentioned that are not participants.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had any luck reaching out to them because I want them to know people are saying nice things about them.
Yeah. And I'm surprised more businesses aren't sharing it because, you know, when there's the Best of New Haven poll, every restaurant is saying, vote for us. This is how you log on. This is how you vote for us. Please vote for us. So regardless of that, they should know that there's some nice things being said about them.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, if this is going to be a continuing, I think this is a worthwhile program that we could do this annually. I think it seems to be a good feel good thing. So if we next year to capitalize on what we're doing now, knowing that maybe taking a month ahead of time and contacting all the different businesses saying this is what we're doing. We did it last year. This is the kind of response. If they didn't know about it, say this is how we did last year, and do your best to keep on it. We think that you'll benefit from it, and you'll feel good about seeing what some of your clients are saying about you.
Yeah, and to Jeremy's point as well, like this even does dovetail with, I think, the goal of the EDC, which we discussed a while back, which was like promoting like the new and existing businesses, and like kind of talking about enhancing the quality of life. So people knowing that this is going on, that there's good things being said, and I think that all aligns with maybe what we spoke about before.
When the winners pick up their bucks or have it mailed to them, are they encouraged to try to get a picture of them in the store, making a transaction or something that maybe we can use later for next year's press or this year's thank you kind of a thing?
I had totally forgotten about that, but I can do that with this next round of winners.
Yeah, I mean, if we had 2 out of 4 weeks or however long it's going, I think that would be nice to show a transaction by a cash register or something, or in front of a sign.
So before Woodbridge Bucks launched, we had talked about, worrying that it would be slow to take off and that we would sort of ration the bucks and give out fewer in the beginning and more in the end. I'm worried that we might have to do the opposite. What do you guys think about that? So I gave out 5 last week and we had 20 comments. Last I checked, we had 10 or 11 comments today. Should I continue to give out 5? Should I do less?
Can the 15 people that didn't win in week 1, are they rolled into week 2 with the other 11?
I wasn't planning on doing that, but I could.
Well, did we say that we weren't going to do that? I guess I don't want to do something that we said. I don't want to do something that
I don't think we announced that.
We just kind of said week 1 is closed, week 2 is open, but I don't think there was any mention of not being able or not being able to roll over.
That'd be a good idea. At least wait and see how we do, and then roll in those who didn't win in the first drawing.
Yes, and there's probably some dupes of someone who responded to the first week and the second week, so there's not that many responses that a dupe can't be weeded out.
I like the roll forward idea. I mean, feel-good comments are really good, and give that person another chance to get some kind of reward. If it's not too much administrative work for you, Betsy.
No.
Yeah, I mean, what if we do, or for week 2, what if you take the 11 from week 2 and you do a drawing of those 11? We'll see how week 3 plays out. But if we need to take the people who didn't win from week 1 and week 2 and put them in a new pool,
or we could pull regular week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 is everybody who didn't win goes in the pool, and maybe we ration. If it's 5, 3, 3, 8, I don't know what the math is, but you know what I mean. Like the last week, everybody goes back in who hasn't yet won, and there's a pull of 8 maybe, a higher number pull. I don't know what that math adds up to, but if it was 5,
9 is the last number if you want it to equal 20. But either way, this is good.
5, 3, 3, 9. If week 2 and week 3 are a little slower, week 4 could be a 9 pull, and it's the week 4 responders plus responses plus everybody else who hadn't yet won. That might be nice to go out with a big bang like that.
Hi, Betsy. I might have misunderstood what your concern was. So could you just maybe explain again? I think I misunderstood.
Yeah, so the first week we had about 20 comments. So I put 20 names in a hat. And this week I haven't checked for quite a while.
I think we have 14.
Okay, so that's better because earlier today or last night it was 10. But 2 of them don't count because one of them is Cleo. One of them is Mario, who was just saying this is a nice program, but not saying, I love X business.
You might be 11 or 12, yeah.
And there is a little bit of duplication between the commenters this week and last week's commenters. So I guess my question is, A, do you want me to take last week's non-winners and lump them in with this week's commenters? But if somebody commented in both weeks, I wouldn't, unless you wanted me to, I wouldn't put their name in twice.
I guess the risk is you may have some serial commenters. So
Definitely.
You're going to weed out the multiple winners, try to avoid, me winning 4 or 5 times or something.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that
I could lump the people from week 1 and week 2 and draw those names. or I could just do less drawings this week. Last week I did 5, maybe I do 3 this week.
I think if you do that, then we can make a decision on if we want to have a finale the last week, where we pull all the people that didn't win, and we'll weed out the ones that are duplicates. If that's not a big task, is that a big task? Okay. So let's if you guys are all good with that, let's try to do that. We'll see where we are by midday tomorrow, and if we're at still 12, then maybe we'll go with the 3, and then move on to week 3. See what the volume is. If it's 3, then great, and then we'll move on and we'll do 9 in the last week.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll check by 9 a.m. tomorrow, and I'll either do 5 if we have closer to 20, or if we're still around 12 or 14, I'll do 3.
Okay. Good deal. Mika's not here, so we don't have Board of Selectmen liaison report. Do we want to go back and approve the January minutes?
Okay.
You have a quorum, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Has everyone reviewed the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Sean, second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Toby, thanks. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay. That's unanimous. Last item on the agenda is a staff report. Betsy's done a lot of talking, so I don't know if there's anything else you want to add in there, Betsy.
Well, I just want to make you guys all aware, Sunday is our last scheduled COVID testing event. So it's Valentine's Day, so show yourself and your family some love. Get tested. It's free. It's at the Center Building Gym, so where you go to vote. It's from 1:30 to 4:30. And spread the word. It's very, very easy. Last month there was no line, and it's supposed to snow on Sunday, so I would imagine there's probably not going to be a line again. Let's see.
Quick question. Is it for age 18 and up or 21 and up? Do you know?
18.
18. Okay. As I think I might share it to the moms group. I think it's very valuable for a lot of the teenage high schoolers if they're over 18.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They could very well be asymptomatic running around.
Yes.
Okay. I'll put
and even if it's not for the kids, if the kids are asymptomatic running around, their moms are probably asymptomatic or sick as well.
But 18 and up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going around again in the school.
Yeah. So the other thing is that we've started a discounted compost bin and rain barrel sale, and the information's on the town website. I did this back in the fall, and it was so popular that I had to start a wait list. I sold out of all my bins and started a wait list. And we're doing it differently this time around. I've partnered with our Regional Council of Governments, and they brought in a vendor. So there's choices for the kind or type or size of bin that you want. There's also rain barrels. If you decide to order, you would order online, and you would pick up in person on Saturday, April 24th, which will be the town's very small, intentionally not exciting, COVID-friendly Earth Day festival. I shouldn't even call it a festival event. It's not going to be exciting. No food, no music. But compost bins, rain barrels, we'll have mattress recycling, and might have paper shredding, electronic recycling, and there may also be a few other things, but pretty limited interaction intentionally. So those, I think, are the big things. Oh, and I'm one other thing. I'm starting a crowdfunding fundraiser for a bike route. So I had applied for a very large DOT grant that we did not get. They gave out 5 grants, and I think we were like number 6 or 7. So we were close, but we didn't get it. So the crowdfunding project works where if I can get $7,500 donated from residents, then Sustainable CT will give us $7,500, and I'll have $15,000 to buy signs to create a bike route, and buy bike racks for use along the bike route. And I'll also be able to buy 3 solar-powered speed awareness signs. They have them in Hamden. I'm not sure where else they have them, but it's something that would go on a speed limit sign that tells you how fast you're driving. So it's an easy, low-cost way to do kind of like a self-check on speeding, and those would be placed along the bike route. And that'll start hopefully very early next week.
That's great.
Yeah, it's not $600,000, but I'm trying to figure out how to get some smaller portions of that really big project taken care of.
And I ordered my compost bin. The website was very easy, so no one can.
Yeah, it's really simple.
Figuring it out. Yeah, it's super simple.
Yeah. So that's it for me.
All right. Any other comments from anyone? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This was a good meeting. I think we're getting a lot of stuff done. Appreciate all the time and the thoughts and everything. And see you next month. See you next month.
Bye. Thank you.
Can I get a motion? Do we need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Make it a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Right.
On to the next meeting. See you guys.
Good night, everybody.